Two, one. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Reality Kingdom, where we talk about all things reality. Period. My name is Pharaoh. I'm your host, and I'm here with Lee. Lee, how you doing today? Brr.
Well, I'm excited to talk about this cast of Survivor. You know what I mean? It was a great premiere episode. Like, great. Like, this is one of the
Mm-hmm.
best premieres of Survivor I think I've ever seen.
I liked it. Some people didn't like it, but I liked it.
There's
Um,
a-
Yes. So today we're going to be talking about the premiere of Survivor 42. We're going to talk about some important things that happened throughout the episode.
got lifestyle.
We are going to talk about the tribes. We're going to talk about the dynamics. And then at the end, we are going to be rating some of the players. So what we're going to be doing today is rating specifically, and throughout this series, is we're going to be specifically rating whoever goes to tribal council. So if it's merged, we're rating everybody, of course, because everyone's going to tribal most of the time. If it's like this episode where only one tribe went to tribal, we're only rating that tribe. So that's what we're going to be doing for this series. But starting off, we can talk about some of the important things in the episode. So
There
this
was a lot. A lot happened in these 2 hours.
it was a lot. It was a 2 hour episode. It was a lot.
Oh, spoiler alert, med evacuation. Like,
I
on the
know.
first episode,
There was a lot going
well, I know
on.
it's not med evac, but he was evacuated, yeah.
He was evacuated. It's kind of medevac, but he was evacuated. So, starting off this episode, we get Jeff and his excited energy. We get us seeing all of the tribes, and we get right into the first challenge, which was a very interesting challenge because Lindsay, and Drea were all designated runners for their tribes. Per they all went and they were given an advantage. Um, or they had to decide whether or not they were going to take this advantage. They decided to all take the advantage and all agree to keep that within themselves, which was a very interesting, I guess, concept. So now they all have this secret. They're all on three different tribes, and they're going to explain later in the episode what this advantage is. Now, let's just get it out the way. The advantage is called the amulets. They're amulets. So each of them has an amulet, and the amulets all have to be played cohesively if they're all three in the game. If there's only two in the game, both of those amulets have to be played cohesively. If it's just one, that amulet is its own amulet and it can be played singular. Well, it's a different power depending on how many amulets are in the game. If there's three amulets in the game, it is counted as an extra vote. So all three of those players can get together, use it as an extra vote, they get an extra vote. If it's two amulets left in the game and one of them was voted out, then that is now a steal a vote. So they can steal a vote from somebody. Now they have a vote and that person doesn't have a vote. If it's only one amulet in the game, it is an idol. So all three of these players are thinking, ooh, do we want to work together or do I need to make sure they go home so that now I have an idol and etc. etc. It's a very interesting thing, but it's important to note Drea, Hi, and Lindsay are the people with this option. So it's already starting off interesting. It's already an interesting, I guess, thing going on. We move along through the show. As we're moving along through the show, and Lee, stop me if you have anything to say. But as we're moving along through the show, we get to the point where
Oh, well, I did want to say something about that.
what's up?
So I did want to say something about the like the little advantage. I just feel like it's just I didn't get it. Like I just don't. I don't know. Like I'm not. I'm really not a fan of Survivor becoming taking the twist
Mm-hmm.
slogan from Canada, BB Canada, because it's just I don't mind a power, but it's like they be doing stuff that like why do you have to jump through a hoop to use an advantage?
Mm-hmm.
Like I have to say a phrase, I gotta get two other people to have it with me. I gotta do this just to use one thing in the game. That we saw from season 41, most of those advantages didn't even get used or done correctly. It's just
Mm-hmm.
like And I will say this was filmed right after 41, so I don't expect them to change anything. But it's just that, like, I don't know. I feel like when you're like forcing gameplay or forcing allegiances or even forcing enemies, 'cause let's be real, what they want to happen is them all to make merge and then make them fight over, well, who's gonna get the item. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I guess that's fun, but is it fair? Like, not like at first it was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh well, you gave them an alliance once they made jury, which would have
Mm-hmm.
been still kind of unfair. And then the situation that really happened is, well, now you gave one person two enemies.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, for what? Why couldn't the advantage just be one's an extra vote, one's a still a vote, one's an idol, and then they
Mm-hmm.
find out when they get to tribal. Don't open. I don't know. It's just I just feel like these could be done so much better, especially if you're having them on three separate tribes. Why give them an advantage they need to work together to
Mm-hmm.
to use? I don't know. Survivor just continue, child. I don't know.
I think they're doing a lot with the advantages, I will say. So there's that. Keep in mind who has those advantages. Drea, High, and Lindsay has that advantage that has to work together. Moving along, we get to the point where um after the first challenge, Ika Tribe wins. And they win the first challenge, so they get Flint and they don't get to die or something. Because, Survivor is now taking it to the extreme, extreme, extreme where you don't get anything unless you earn it. So Ika's the only tribe that doesn't have to literally suffer. The other two tribes have to try to earn it again, and that's where the other two tribes have to decide if they're going to do the physical bring the water into the bucket challenge or the mental how many triangles is in this triangle challenge. I found this very interesting because we saw in 41 both tribes who were asked to do this chose to do the physical challenge to guarantee that they get the stuff. This season, both tribes decided to do the mental one. It was very
Mm-mm.
interesting how different that's going to shake up. And I feel like it might imply that the game might be just very different than the way they played this last season. I don't know. It's giving me a different energy already a little bit. I don't know. Something about this season is just giving a different energy. I kind of like it,
Yeah.
but it was interesting that they chose that. Both tribes got the answer right. So both tribes got the flint and the tarp or whatever ABC thing they get. So that was good. And that was an interesting moment. It really was um interesting to see Jenny was the one who solved it for her tribe. That was like a character moment for her. So I really liked that. After this, there's another situation where an advantage can be earned. This is when people were asked to leave tribe. One person needs to leave the tribe and go to the summit. So I want to say Marianne went, Drea went for her tribe, and Jenny went for her tribe. So it's Marianne, Jenny, and Drea all going separately together to the summit. And they have to walk this summit together. They're supposed to get to know each other on the way. And then at the end of the summit, they're met with this prisoner's dilemma. So the three of them are on a different island. They walk this trail and they all three separate and go to the prisoner's dilemma. The prisoner's dilemma is if you all risk your vote, um, then nobody gets a vote. If at least one person plays it safe and doesn't risk their vote, the two people who risk their vote or the other person who risked their vote gets an extra vote. So they have to decide, is everyone going to risk their vote and I'm going to lose my vote? Or is one person not going to do it and so I get an extra vote? Am I going to play risky? Am I going to play safe? That's supposed to be the whole concept. Lee, how you feel about this one? Is this one better than the other one?
No, I didn't like it when I did it in 41. I didn't like it when they did it in 41, and I don't like it now. It's unnecessary. I mean, the best thing we got out of that Advantage Island twist last season was Liana and Shane's relationship. That was really it.
Mm-hmm.
There's no I feel like valid reason why this is even a twist. It's just stupid. I don't know. It's just you're making people leave camp. You're just I don't know. It's like they're trying to use it off like to make the game go faster, but how accelerated does the game really move with it? It's already an accelerated game. I don't understand why throwing in more twists is gonna just I don't know. It's just That part I don't like about the new Survivor. I only like the
Mhm.
casting initiative, the
Mhm.
twists and turns. I mean, I even hate that it's 26 days. It's just I kind of miss old Survivor. I do
Uh huh.
I wish it was more toned down. It
Okay.
doesn't. I feel like Survivor doesn't need the gimmicks. I feel like a lot of shows need the gimmicks, and Survivor just isn't one of those shows.
Mhm.
It's good for what it actually is. Like I'm not the advantages aren't making me tune in every week.
Mhm.
The people are. So I don't know. It's just like it's just crazy. And I understand they filmed them back to back, but why are you recycling some of the same twists? Did COVID stop creativity? I'm confused. Like we got Advantage Island again.
Adventures Island
Like I
again.
understand stuff is limited, but the same twists damn near. Like I swear to God, if that's an hourglass this season. Chad, you may be doing this
Child. I'm gonna
podcast
be doing it
alone because
alone,
I ain't gonna be able to
child.
keep watching. So that's just I don't like game altering twists in any
Mhm.
show. Any show that directly affects the gameplay is just annoying because I feel like there's a level of unfairness to it.
Mhm. I feel like we need like a advantage chart because now I'm finna get into who has advantages. So we find out that Mary Ann and Drea risk it all, and Jenny doesn't, which gives Mary Ann and Drea an extra vote. So that
Which
means,
I'll say,
mm-hmm.
I was shook that Marianne risked her vote.
Me
I was like, this
too.
is coming out last.
I was
I was like,
interested.
oh, Marianne.
I,
You better go. We're gonna get into more into Marianne when we get to her name.
that was very
But Marianne is
interesting.
an icon.
No, that
Like
was
this is
very
a
interesting.
summer, just like how this is a summer stand page
Mm-hmm.
for BB Can.
Mm-hmm.
This is a Mary Ann stand page for Survivor 40 freaking two. Okay,
Per.
Mary Ann can do no wrong in my eyes. She is going to win. All the Mary stands out there,
Not the
we
Mary.
gonna win it. We taking it.
Period.
We taking it. The Mary Standers. Period.
I love Marianne. I really do. Um, so Marianne has still a vote. Drea has still a vote. Drea also has an amulet along with High and Lindsay who have amulets. Keep track, baby. Keep track. So after this happens, we're at what is the name of that tribe? The Yellow Tribe. Marianne and them tribe, and Jeff comes to the to the island.
Orange. It's Taku.
Taku, thank you.
Taku.
So we're at the Taku tribe. Jeff comes to the island, and Jeff is like, "Hey y'all, I don't come to the island often. What I'm finna do is I'm finna have a one-on-one with Jackson." He pulls Jackson to the side. Him and Jackson are talking, and him and Jackson discuss. Basically, Jeff is like, "So Jackson, the day before you came out here, you let us know you were on this medication, and it was very last minute. So we decided that we're gonna let you play. And as you're playing, we're going to try to figure out if this is going to be a safe environment for you to be in for these next 26 days or not." So Jeff basically is breaking the news to Jackson and saying, "We realize that this medicine is not something you can be off of for this amount of days because it's going to not be good for your health. And our priority is your health. We have a rigorous process for health screening and et cetera, et cetera. And unfortunately, you're going to have to go, baby." So
That was so sad.
it
Like
was.
like I'm not gonna lie, I cried a good 5 times this episode. Like I love a good, not necessarily like sob story, but like I love seeing people's backgrounds, like how much
Mm-hmm.
they love the show, how much they tried to be like Survivor super fans don't got shit on a Big Brother super fan. Survivor super fans live for this game, so it just sucks to see
Mm-hmm.
like he wanted to play so bad and he got cut that early. And then Mary Ann was killing me the way she screamed and ran.
I know. Mary
Made
Ann
me
was
cry even more because
crying.
it's like, right, like
Mm-hmm.
it was just a really shitty situation. And I hated how I don't know if y'all noticed, but the way they led into it, it was very much like I didn't see that coming. I'm thinking maybe it was gonna be like, so did you want to stay or something? But
I
like it was so crazy because
know.
they made this man come and tell Jeff his whole life story for Jeff to be
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, baby, you gotta go. Like, dang,
Mm-hmm.
like it just sucked. It really sucked. Like, and I feel like it was early enough. They didn't have no replacements. I don't know. Is that rude? Like, I
Right.
just feel like they didn't even have immunity challenge yet. I would have brought somebody home. I mean, you could have
Mm-hmm.
brought them over there real quick. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
Shan probably haven't left yet. Brink, I don't know,
Some of the fans feel like it was Survivor was trying to use him for his story and his particular story because they're trying to have the story and we want to have people with different experience and then the fact that this is going to be a shock value. A lot of the fans felt like they were using him. I don't know. I kind of feel like what Jeff said is what it was, is that it was very, very last minute when he was told about it, and they just felt like, okay, well, we need to investigate because he might be able to play. They didn't know what the medicine was. They had to investigate the medicine. It could have came back that the medicine was like, oh, you can play. Like, this isn't gonna harm you. He literally was like, the side effects of the medicine is that, oh, you can't be under physical stress, you can't be under mental stress, and all of this. Not every medicine side effect is that. It was just a particular medicine that he had.
y'all have to realize, like Survivor and CBS, these are like $1 million corporations. If this man were to pass away under their care, his family could sue for
Mm-hmm.
millions. Survivor, the show we all love, could literally get shut down. I don't think it was a situation like. Let's just be 100% honest. All of these companies and shows, they will use anybody to promote. You know what I mean? I
Mm-hmm.
can kind of see that aspect of it. Like, okay, he's a trans man, and they want to show that, oh, Survivor, we're inclusive, we include people and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think him, like almost any different person on any reality show, was being used for that. But I don't think it was a situation like, oh, we knew this man couldn't continue, but we're gonna bring him just to use the story. It definitely wasn't a situation like that.
Mm-hmm.
It just sucks. It just sucks.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
That's what it comes down to. There's nothing you can really do about it. It
So
happened like what, months ago at this point.
I know they're past
We
it.
mad now. I mean, Jackson been deal with this. You know what I mean? We
Exactly.
mad now. Like Jackson been had to deal with this. So I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
don't think we should dig that deep into it. It's really not that serious.
Mm-hmm. So after this happens, they go to the immunity challenge. And so we see the immunity challenge play out. We see what happens with the teams, and Ika loses. Now, before we get into Ika and everything, we're gonna do Ika last. Let's talk about each tribe. Let's talk about the
Which
other
tribe do we
two.
want to start with first?
Let me see. Okay, we can start with let's start with Taku. Let's start with
Okay.
Taku, Marianne and them tribe. That's what I'm gonna call it, Marianne and them, because that's what I see it as. Let's be for real.
Period.
I think we got the least. I think we didn't get that much info from Taco or Vati. We
No.
got the most from Ika, which is why Ika's gonna be the only people we're rating today. But with Taku, we do know from some of Jackson's exit interviews. We do know from just what we can kind of see on the show some things that we can talk about, right? So just looking at Taku originally, I didn't think Taku was easy tribe to understand. I felt like the dynamics kind of could have been anything. Um, and we don't really know much at all. All we know is Jonathan was doing his provider thing. Jackson left. Mary Ann seemed very happy and excited. I didn't hear nothing from Omar. I didn't hear nothing from Mariah. And Lindsay has a amulet. That's all we know. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
it. That's all we know.
From the exit interviews with Jackson, we got that the tribe was seeing Marianne as someone who might be the target because Marianne was very, very excited. She was very happy. She just seemed threatening for this game. It seemed like someone who was going to get along with people and stuff. So the tribe was thinking Marianne is a threat. Then Marianne goes on the summit. So the tribe is thinking, oop, we might have to go after Marianne. So from the vagueness we know, and from that one exit interview that we don't even know if that's true, Marianne is looking like she's not in a good position, but she has an extra vote. Lindsay has the amulet, so we don't know. We don't know for sure, but it's looking like not too good for Marianne, which is what we said when we were talking about the tribes in
They
our.
set her up.
They set her up.
They set her up, and it really sucks because I love Marianne. Like
Mm-hmm.
I just love seeing someone who has just been a huge fan of this show and finally get on and play it, and she wants to play her heart out. Like, we say a lot, like, just happy to be there. She is really just happy to be there, and you can see it on
Mm-hmm.
her face. Like, her smile, it makes you want to smile. And then
Mm-hmm.
hearing about her backstory and how she felt like, she's the different kid, and she's on the show to show the different people like you can follow your
Mm-hmm.
dreams and you can get on no matter how you look like. Like that's one of the moments I bust out in tears because it's just like she's speaking to me, she's speaking to a lot of people. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like I can definitely see how she probably thought never in a million years she would get on that show. Because
Mm-hmm.
think about it, I mean, they just like a lot of people are getting casted because of the by POC rule now, and I think a lot of people are getting that chance that they never thought. And I'm just happy to see like someone like Marianne, this type of archetype in the game, and it just sucks that she's being seen as some sort of a threat. It honestly doesn't make sense to me. The thing is, we don't know much about Taku tribe, so we don't really know
Mm-hmm.
much about the tribe divisions. I did learn after the fact that Omar is Canadian along with Marianne, so
Okay.
maybe she has an in somehow with him.
Okay.
From what I could glean, I would assume that Lindsay and Jonathan are most likely aligned. They're
Mm-hmm.
the two, biggest and most athletic people on the tribe. It just
Mm-hmm.
makes sense. But we have really no idea. And I think with Jackson out, the dynamic in this tribe could be all over the place. But I will say this,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess I can kind of do a transition here. From the preview, we didn't even see them in the preview for the next episode. We saw some drama on Vati, and we
Mm-hmm.
saw some drama on Ika.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember seeing anything about Taku in the next episode, and it could be a
Mm-hmm.
fake out to get us strict. But if I have to be honest, I feel like Lindsay and Jonathan are just really strong anchors for the tribe, and I don't really see them losing. I
They
mean,
might not lose no
they
more.
were beasting in those competitions, and that's why I want to transition into Jonathan.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I love a man.
I'm not doing
I
that.
love a man. He's just so big and beefy, and he just wants to take care of the tribe. I mean, did y'all see how he was one armed pushing the boat to the rope? He is just a man. I think he's gonna make sure they
Bye.
win every goddamn challenge. So I do think Marianne's gonna be safe simply because of that.
Mm-hmm.
But specifically Jonathan, he's doing very much what I thought. Very much himbo vibes. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily think he's going to be long for this game, but like I said, we have not seen a lot of what's happening on that tribe, so I can't
Exactly.
say for sure. Definitely something to look at. That's for damn sure.
Yes. Yeah, we didn't get much from Taku. Not much else to say. Vati. Now with Vati, what I want to preface this with is the fact that Survivor is usually strategic about their editing. So I found it interesting the way they edited the Vati tribe because one particular person on this tribe they gave a specifically like good edit to. And that's interesting to think about when they talked about the Vati tribe, they talked about Daniel and how basically Daniel was getting in good with Jenny. Daniel was getting in good with Mike. Daniel was getting in good with High. Daniel was getting in good with Chanel. And it was very interesting because usually when Survivor specifies someone, especially when they don't lose on that tribe, and especially this early, it's because either they're the first merge boot or they are going to be impactful on the season. So I found it interesting that they did specifically mention that Daniel was doing good. It was random. They didn't do that for Taku. They didn't do that for anybody else on Vati. I thought it was a very specific thing. It was also interesting because I didn't think Daniel was going to do good. Daniel was like one of the last people picked. I'm thinking, what's a Daniel? I'm thinking Chanel's gonna be that girl. But for them to specify Daniel, it was interesting because they specified Shan on episode one. They specify Evie on episode one last season. So it's like the people they specify are going to be either big names, and Sydney was someone they specified, but she was the merge boot. So either I don't want to get too much into the thing, but I just thought it was interesting that Daniel was very much so. That was all we really got from that tribe was that Daniel was eating them up. So hey,
And also, like I love how that tribe is getting set up too, because like they have a lot of division in that tribe, just like kind of like Ika did. Like so, you
mm-hmm,
have three duos going on: Mike and Jenny, who's the older firefighter, and Jenny, who is the lady who figured out the puzzle.
mm-hmm,
You have Danielle and Chanel, and you also have High and Lydia.
mm-hmm,
Now, since you just talk about Danielle, I'll go ahead and talk about Chanel. We didn't get much from Chanel, and Chanel, I feel like it's gonna be someone who to watch. Okay, she's an
mm-hmm,
order. She's a big fan of the game, and she only got
mm-hmm.
that one little dining room, that one little they're working
Yes.
together. They're working together. So I need to work with Danielle, and it's just with
Mhm.
Daniel. So I'm just like, okay, like so she definitely knows what's going on.
Mhm.
I want to see like I want to, because I definitely see her being a power player in this game.
Mhm.
I think it's a positive thing. She only got like a little small,
I
little
do
dining room. You know what
too.
I mean? Like, I'd rather see you as little as possible than
Mhm.
see you all up on the screen, because that means you could be going home, like you said,
Mhm.
like just with Daniel.
Exactly.
But in general, if I have to say like favorite tribe,
You
this
go say
is
this.
definitely like
I,
up there, only because first of all, I love High a lot. I think his personality is great. I think it's so
mhm.
bubbly. I think it's so great. I think he's gonna do really, really well. I feel like he's gonna use his advantage pretty well. And
Mhm.
I also love that he teamed up with my bitch Lydia. Lydia is
Yeah.
the funniest person I have ever seen on TV. I feel like she is hilarious. And then I found her Twitter, and she's even funny on Twitter. Like, I just hope that I want to see her go far because I
mhm.
want to see different archetypes dominate this game.
Mhm.
Like that's the best thing about the BIPOC rule is just that like all these different archetypes are coming in. Like I want to see Lydia and High make it as far as possible. I
Mhm.
want to see Marianne make it as far as possible.
Exactly.
I really do. I'm tired of seeing the same old people make it to the final tribal every freaking season.
Mhm.
Like we just had our first woman winner in Survivor in seasons. I want
Sincera
to keep that streak
Lucina.
going.
Sincera Lucina, which
I want to
was
keep that.
30, 33. We're on
We don't know
43.
her, and we don't know her. We don't know
And
her.
we don't
We
even know
don't
who
know her.
that is.
So
Child.
I want to keep the streak going. We need another one winner
We
or a
we.
BIPOC winner at that.
Anzu.
Period.
Per. I agree.
But I love that tribe a lot. I do think, like I was shocked how
Mhm.
smart Jenny was. Like Jenny really
Mhm.
used some skills there. Like
Mhm.
I don't think necessarily she's gonna be. Cause that's the thing. I'm confident. We don't know, but the way Vati, what we saw in the preview was Daniel
Mhm.
actually very interesting was the one that was saying Mike has to go. I
Mhm.
don't think there's going to be any push and pull to that. I do feel like Daniel, Chanel, High, and Lydia will probably team up. They all around the
Mhm.
same age. They probably will connect on more things than Mike and Jenny. And then Jenny will
Mhm.
probably be in the minority after Mike leaves. But
Yeah.
I do think her being as smart as she is, if she's able to keep up with doing well in these puzzles and things like that, she could potentially get some type of upper hand.
Mhm.
But we'll just have to see.
We would just have to see. Now we have the last tribe. We have Ika. Ika. It's actually Ika. Got me saying Ika. You niggas got me out here
I'm
saying
calling it Ika
ass.
for the rest of the season. After Queen Ika Wong.
By Ika, the Ika tribe. This is the tribe we got the most information of. I think in the middle of the show or at the beginning of the show, they were basically saying that it was divided by age in a way. Drea, Romeo, and Roxroy, they got together. They were all the older people. They made an alliance. Tori was like, I'm going to have to go with Swati and Zach because I feel like I can control them a little more. I feel like I can have my imprint on them. I'm going to try to get with them. So before anything happened, that's kind of how the tribe was separated. Fast forward, Tori. Tori is getting food for the tribe, but as she's getting food, she's actually looking for an idol a little bit. So, of course, rumblings at the tribe start to happen, and all five of the other members are talking about how she might have an idol. When Tori gets back, Zach takes it upon himself to let Tori know that the tribe was doing this. So, they go to the challenge, they lose the challenge. When they come back from the challenge, Tori straight up lays it out. I don't have an idol. I know y'all think I have an idol. I don't have an idol. And Drea, I kind of want to talk to you personally. So she takes Drea to the side. She talks to Drea personally, and she's like, Drea, um, I like you, and we don't get this from the show, and this is why Survivor editing kind of is icky. But it seems like she's about to tell Drea that Zach's the one who told her about the whole situation because Drea and the people are like, who told her we think she has an idol? Who told her we think she has an idol? It's not confirmed that she did this. It just seems that way. So we just have to take that with literally 50 grains of salt. But what happened was Tori did tell Drea we should try to get out Rocksroy. Drea told Tori we should try to get out Rocksroy because Drea's like, even though I'm in alliance with him at the challenge, Rocksroy was slacking. Zach and Rocksroy were slacking. So Drea's target is Rocksroy. She tells Tori this. Fast forward. We go to Rocksroy and Swati talking. Rocksroy and Swati are like, who we targeting? Swati's like, I think we should target Zach. Rocksroy is like, bet, let's target Zach. Fast forward. Romeo talks to Drea. Romeo is like, we can't get our Rocksroy, Drea. Rocksroy's in our 3-person alliance. Romeo is thinking, I want everyone I'm aligned with to be with me. Romeo has a final 2 with Zach. They got the skinny boys final 2. Romeo has a 3-person alliance with Drea and Rocksroy. So he doesn't want Rocksroy, Zach, or Drea to go. So Romeo's like, let's just vote Tori. So we go into tribal like that. That's literally how they bring us to tribal. We don't have a definite answer. They just keep it all open. We know Romeo wants Tori out. We know Swati and them was talking about getting Zach out. And we know Drea was like, we need to get Rocksroy out. At tribal council, we have a discussion. And we see that Tori and Zach are at ends. Zach is like beefing with Tori basically, and Tori's beefing with Zach. We didn't get much information on that, which is why I don't know what the editing is doing. We just have to assume kind of that Tori told Drea about Zach and what he was doing or something. That's kind of what we assume, but we don't know. But Tori and Zach are upset at the tribal, and we're at the tribal, and it ends with Zach getting voted out. That's what we have. Lee, thoughts? That's just what happened.
I'm just not. I'm not shocked it happened. When we talked about it in the cast assessment, I said Zach was. He's a big super fan of the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's just he doesn't look the part of the things he said he wants to do, and I think that kind of just what happens. He's in an open treasure race in our tribe. He doesn't have that much places to hide. I mean, it came down to keeping the tribe strong. Like, so I'm really not shocked at this outcome at all. We can't just jump into the ring at this point.
Yeah, I do want to say, for the future of Ika, if they go to tribal again, I don't know what's gonna happen because Tori mentioned at tribal, me and my alliance, we gonna vote for who we voting for. I don't know who she's referring to. I don't know who. I don't know if her Rocksroy and Drea and Romeo got together or whatever. It could just be they all agreed Zach has to go, or it could be an actual group that was formed, and then we don't know. We can go to ratings because we don't know.
Okay. All right. Well, who's the first? Drea?
Drea's first.
Okay, so I'll start with Drea. Drea is an icon. She's a queen. I did not think she would play this aggressively because she did mention she was a super fan, but she also mentioned how like she was talking a lot about the competition wins and providing for the camp. So I'm thinking, oh, she's gonna go in and that's gonna be our top priority. I didn't think she would have this type of strategic mindset. Now, the only issue with Drea mainly is that, and I think this is a lot of people's issue because of how fast paced the game is this year and how small the tribes are and things like this. That's why I mean, I like it for the mess, but I feel like for good strategy, we're not really getting it because she's gotten into this power position, but she lost a lot of the power she had, I feel like. We saw in the preview that apparently Tori's going to try to target her next week. Now, I will say, I don't think Tori's going to have the power to do so. I mean, it's not like, Tori just lost one of her numbers, and Swati is damn near Rocksroy numbers at this point, from what I can tell. But that is just the edit. So we're going based off the edit because we don't know what we don't know. And I do feel like it's a possibility that she could go home, which is a problem. I do think overall, if she can get past Tori targeting her, I do think she's probably one of the last ones left on this tribe. I don't know how other people would, I feel like, take her dominance. Like, could it be another Shan situation where they're like, we're not going to deal with this girl? Now, do I think Drake is as savvy as Shan? No. But I do think Drake could be Drea will be a power player. Like I said, that's my only issue. I just like strategically she is there. Like, she wants to make the move. She wants to be the ones with the advantage and have the one with the comp wins and things like that. But it's like, you have to have it has to be like a clear path. You can't just be doing shit. And I feel like she just wants to do stuff because like the whole target Rocksroy thing, it didn't make sense to me. Rocksroy was your ally. Like Romeo had to remind her, like, girl, we're in alliance with this man. What are you doing? That type of thinking, it doesn't feel good. And now Tori targeting her. Who knows? The dynamics could be all over the place. But she does have that extra vote, and she does have the amulet. Now the amulet can't be used, which is so stupid. But like I said, she has these advantages. So I feel like overall, I have to give her a 5 because the erratic behavior, I do feel like it's definitely going to catch up to her, and maybe sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I feel like Drea has lacks subtlety. I think she needs some form of like subtlety or like discreetness or even savviness. I don't see it. It seems very just forward. Everything she's doing, she's just doing it like you said. Targeting Roxroy was not even smart for her game. First of all, I don't even think he was the worst at the competition. We only saw clips. But even if he was bad, thinking about competitions, Zach is going to be less valuable and you're not with him. So I don't think it made much sense. I think it was a little bit spiteful from her. Like I think she was just kind of mad at something specific he did, and so she was like,
Definitely.
"Let me target him." And I don't think that's smart. I think a lot of her decisions have been a little bit impulsive. She seems like she wants to play the game very forward, very actively, but she's kind of doing it in a sloppy way already. The only positive is that she is playing the game and that she has an advantage, but that's it. So I don't know. I'm just gonna give her a 4.5 because I do decimals. I know
Mm.
you.
You love that simple thing.
I do love a decimal. I just feel I can see her going soon. If she does make it to a certain point, I don't see her having the ability to stay in the game for too long, even if she makes merge, because
Mm.
I just feel like people are just gonna want to target her, and she's gonna do something to cause someone to want to target her. It's the first 3 days, and she's already seen as this type of player a little bit to the point where Tori wants to target her next. You know what I'm saying? So, Roxroy. Um, I don't think Roxroy did anything, in my opinion, that was damaging, that I can consider damaging in this episode. I feel like Drea wanting to target him is probably a little bit of a fault in him. He seems okay at the comps, okay enough to not be the first one to go. But if someone's talking about him being bad at comps already, that is kind of a negative. I feel like he does have that subtlety that Drea doesn't. His conversation with Swati shows that he has a relationship with Swati, which is good because I feel like Swati probably would have been like, I'm not voting Rockstar anyways, even if Drea tried it. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's good. I think Rocksroy has the potential to make it in this tribe because if Drea goes or Tori goes, I think Swati might go. I don't think Rocksroy is gonna go. I think this hiccup was just random from Drea, honestly. So I can still see him doing well. I think he has a simple strategic sense. He was a part of that alliance. He wanted to be a part of it. He has relationships with Swati. I think Rocksroy can get in where he fits in. So I mean, there's not a lot that we have, so I just have to go with a 5. I feel with a 5.5. I love the point. I'll give him a 5.5.
I feel the opposite.
Okay.
I feel like I was really high on Rockstar going in. I like his personality. I like his backstory.
Mm-hmm.
And then I feel like on the episode, I didn't. I thought there was a possibility he could be that player where it was like, I want to run the tribe, and I want to be the leader of the tribe. I didn't think
Mm-hmm.
he was going with that personality. I feel like every season we already have that person, and now they're doing the three tribe thing. I think they're trying to even it out because Mike is obviously that person in the other tribe as well, and
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan's kind of that person on the third tribe. He's like, oh, I'm the provider. I'm the, you know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
I provide for the camp.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think he would be so anal about everything. I mean, he was basically yelling at people, telling them to
Mm-hmm.
get to work and all these other things. So it's just like that's not going to be a positive thing moving forward. Like,
Mm-hmm.
people are not going to want to like people in a situation like Survivor where you have to live in the wilderness. You're not
Yeah.
eating, you sweating, you stink. You don't want to be annoyed by somebody. I feel like Rocksroy is going to get really, really annoying, and
Okay.
I don't think he has the strategic ability to back it up. I don't think anyone with that archetype ever does, though. The people who
Mm-hmm.
want to just go in and provide and be the leader, they never have anything past being the leader. So
Mm-hmm.
I never. It's like it's crazy because we get that archetype every single year. You would think about season 42,
Mm-hmm.
people would learn. People don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I, I have very low hopes for him. Honestly, I don't see him making it that far.
Aw.
He might stay because of some infighting with Tori and Drea.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, he makes it past that. Then what?
What
And I
now?
do think if he makes the merge, eh, like I don't really don't see it for him. So I give him a 4, honestly.
Wow. Did we watch the same episode? I just felt
I mean,
totally different.
I just didn't like what I saw. The bossing them around and getting
Yeah,
upset because they were socializing, and it's just
that did
you can't
happen.
have that energy. Yeah, you annoyed, but you can't have that energy. And I feel like if he's already prone to be showing that within that was day one.
Yeah.
Imagine day 12 when he's hungrier and more
Mhm.
tired and lost more competitions and more stress. So
Mhm.
it ain't going. It's gonna be a problem. It's
Mhm.
definitely gonna be a problem.
What you think of
He doesn't
Romeo?
even like half of his tribe.
What you think of Romeo? Romeo, Romeo. Wherefore art thou?
Romeo was the biggest shock for me. Honestly, I thought Romeo was going to be trash going in. Now, I will say I do think part of the reason why he's in this good position is because how messy his tribe is. I think he's able to. It's really easy to find yourself in the middle of of all that mess. I think him and
Mhm.
Swati are kind of playing similar games. Swati just doesn't have the positioning because she wasn't part of that original older group.
Mhm.
He was a part of it. I do think that he clearly shows better strategic ability than his allies because they're worried about the wrong ass. I mean, like I said, he had to literally tell Drea not to go after her own ally.
Mhm.
It's funny because them going back and forth, I was like, is this Shane and Ricard?
Bye.
I think I predict. I was like, Drea and Romeo are going to be the Shannon Ricard of this season, and it's going to
Mhm.
be iconic. And I feel like it's
Mhm.
just going to be messier and just way crazier. But I do feel like he does have a good head on his shoulders, and I do think. Now that you mentioned that about Daniel, I feel like Romeo kind of got that too a bit. Like
Mhm.
before they went to tribal, he got the last confessional saying like, things are going crazy. We're going
Mhm.
to the vote. I don't know what to do. I have to align myself with the right people.
Mhm.
So I think that's really good. I do think no matter what happens in this tribe moving forward, he is not going home at all.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna give him a 7. Honestly, I think that was a really great
Oh.
performance for a first episode. And I think we saw Luvu go all the way to 2 people. If I'm looking at this tribe, he's damn sure gonna be one of those 2 people if it comes down to that.
Mhm.
And
I.
if not, I think enough people will listen to him because, like I said, he
Mhm.
shows that he can be a leader when need be, and those are good qualities to me.
Mhm. I agree. I think Romeo did really, really good this first episode. The fact that he was in that original little three alliance with his allies, the fact that he really wanted Zach to stay because Zach was one of his numbers, the fact that he was able to shift and still, I think, be in a good position. He just showed a lot of like positives. He didn't play in that challenge, so I don't know how he is challenge wise, but it doesn't seem like he even can get voted out even if he's bad at challenges. He seems really good
Mm-hmm.
positions. He seems really smart. Seems like probably the best player on this tribe. I don't know. I just liked everything I saw from him. I'm also gonna give him a 7, and I expected this. I did draft
Oh, you
him,
did. You called it.
so and I didn't
You
expect
called
much
it.
from
I
Roxford.
ain't see it for him.
I saw it. Tori. Now Tori is
In the
a
draft.
Tori is an interesting one because I like Tori. I think Tori is really, really savvy. I think the fact that Tori didn't just go home was pretty savvy of her because she got caught looking for an idol. Well, not caught, but accused of looking for an idol, which she actually was doing. And the way she initially approached that, I didn't think I would have been comfortable doing that whole everybody in the tribe.
Yeah.
I'm not a thought. That was like a power move that I don't think I would have done, but it worked. When she pulled Dre to the side, Dre was like, "You know what, girl? Let's vote rocks." I was like, "Oh, you got Drea ready to vote somebody else with you? Like ready to vote one of her allies with you? Like that was kind of crazy." I was happy for Tori. I don't think Tori was in a good position. I don't think she's in a good position now. I don't know what made her think she can go into this next episode trying to target people, but the way she maneuvered the target off of her and onto Zach, bloop, or anybody, literally, just anybody else. And it just so happened with Zach, and Zach is the one, because going into tribal, the only person Zach is mad at is Tori, who went home.
Yeah. Zach.
So it's very, I don't know. I'm gonna have to give her a 6 from this performance. It's a 6 and not any higher because she was literally the target. And it's a 6 because she was the target and didn't go home. It's hard in Survivor to be that first target, that first person, and you don't go home. You've been there for 3 days and you didn't go home when you was that target. Zach didn't even do that bad in the comp, in my opinion. And he didn't because Drea was talking about Rocksroy's performance in the comp, not Zach's. So, like, she ate that up. Thoughts?
So here's my thing.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like it definitely wasn't a 6.
Okay.
I just feel like I like Tori. I think she has a better instinct for the game, especially
Mm-hmm.
more than Drea. But I think it's just very obvious that when she is in danger or if she is in a situation where she could be the target, not necessarily panics, but I do think she could get a bit abrasive. You know what I mean? Like
Okay.
that move when she stood in front of the trap, like that was crazy. And like I said, what we do have in the
Mm-hmm.
preview is her trying to target Drea.
Mm-hmm.
Now, from what I can tell, Roxford don't like her. Drea barely like her, and Romeo don't like her either.
Right.
I don't see how the hell she plans on doing that. So I do think as a player, she's higher than the 5 I'm giving her,
Mm-hmm.
but the position she's in is a 5.
Okay. I'll accept the
And
5.
I feel like if she that's the thing. Her biggest thing is going to be this Drea dilemma, and vice versa for Drea. If either one of them is able to get the other out, I do think the other one can make it to the merge and probably go really far in this game.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of just depends on who is going to take who out. That's why I put them both in a 5, Tori and Drea, because I do see them in a very similar positions. Drea
Mm-hmm.
is slightly better. That's the crazy thing. I feel like Drea is slightly better position wise, but lower player wise, and I feel like Tori is higher player wise and just lower position
I
wise.
see what you're
But that was
saying.
kind of on her because she wanted to go with Michael and Swati, and then I mean not Michael and Swati, Zach and Swati, and then
Mm-hmm.
she didn't even. I don't know. It's weird. It's kind of weird, and I think that does just show like the age difference because Swati and Zach are really young. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
how old Tori is, but I know she's not as young as those two.
Mm-hmm.
And the way they kind of just submitted to the older people, y'all had a whole 3.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you just submit to who they wanted to go home? Because you did bad at the challenge. Who cares if you did bad at the challenge? You have
Mm-hmm.
an alliance. They
Mm-hmm.
don't need to vote you out. You know what I mean? I think that was very stupid on their part, and I'm making on Swati about that in a minute.
Mm-hmm. I thought I liked Tori. And I wasn't.
I love her
This is what
too.
it was. I'm not sold on the positioning of this tribe. After this vote, I'm not sold on who's with who. It was very confusing because it didn't seem like that vote was gonna go that way. And then the way how it went that way, I need to know. So I feel like I just need more information before I base too much on positioning because this episode's positioning clearly is not the case because at the end of the episode, Zach went home. According to the positioning, it could have been Tori, or it seemed like it should have been Tori. I don't know why Tori didn't go home. I don't even know what. I don't know what's going on. So leave it at that. Swati, I don't. Swati wasn't giving. It was actually giving what I expected it to give. She said she wanted to lay low at the beginning, and I don't think Swati's gonna be targeted. But is Swati gonna do anything? I don't know. I don't think Swati had much agency. I guess Zach was Swati's target. The person who said Zach first was Swati on the episode, so I'll give her that. But why was he your target?
Exactly.
Right? Like, I feel like if it does come down to, oops, somebody did bad in the comp, she could be vulnerable for that now. Like, if it does come
Yeah.
down to that, I don't think that was like the best situation for her. I don't know where she's positioned. Once again, I don't know how this tribe is positioned. But if it is still the old people together, and let's say they was like, okay, Tori, just come with us. Swati, what you
Who's
gonna do?
next?
What are you gonna
And that's
do?
why and that's why I need to get on her ass real quick because I just
4.
feel like Swati is like you have a 4?
I gave her 4. Go.
Oh. No, I wasn't that low on Miss Swati
That's not that
now.
low.
Now
If 5 is
I just feel
average,
like we definitely just look at this differently
4.
because you gave Roxford a 6 and I gave Roxford a 4,
I
and
gave
I think
Rosswell a
we're just kind of
5.5.
that's damn near 6. Okay,
I think Rosswell is in a great, better position than Swati. What you gonna get Swati?
this time I'm gonna go over her game.
Okay.
I don't think it was smart for her to let Michael go like that. I think, and this is where it comes down to. A lot of people go into these games, Big Brother, Survivor, whatever have you, and they say they want to lie low. You have to realize you cannot just lie low and let the game happen around you. If you lie low and wait to a certain point, none of the work that was put to get you to that point is your doing. You have to realize the game is always moving. So while Drea and Tori and Roxor are becoming these pillar of strategies on your tribe, you're not putting any effort into that. So if you want to take a shot at somebody at some point, do you have the numbers? Do you have the influence? Do you have the power? You have to start building that. So just saying like, oh, he can go because it's between me and him. It wasn't even between you and him. It was between Tori and him.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't have to vote with them like that. Because you're right. I mean, from what we can tell, her only bond in the tribe is Roxroy, which isn't necessarily a good thing because I don't think Roxroy is going to make it too far, but we obviously have two separate opinions on that.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like it's just
I don't
very
think
clear,
Roxbury gonna make
like,
it too far.
why I think every year it becomes more clear why the younger players don't win Survivor when they get on. They're way too passive. I think they get around these older contestants and they feel like we just have to submit to whatever they want to do. No, you don't. You can do your own thing. Like I said, they had an entire 3 without the other 3. Y'all can with the rocks. I would have with the rocks. Let's go.
What are you gonna give her? Because you dragging her, and you didn't even drag Roxroy like this. So what you gonna give her to where you was shocked that I gave her 4?
I did drag Rockmore like this. I did drag him like this. But this is why I see the positive. I do think Swati has a good head on her shoulders. I do think because of the Tori and Drea drama, Swati is not going to go home anytime soon. I do think I can see her being one of the last few in this tribe. Honestly, I think Roxroy, Drea, or Tori, maybe even all 3 go before her. And I do feel like she's someone who could get into a good position to come merge. The thing about Swati is, can she win? But that's way too far. I think for right now, I'm going to give her a 5.5 because I feel like she is. I think she's slightly better positioned. I think she's slightly better positioned, and I do think she's even with Tori when it comes to gameplay. But I do think position-wise, she's better than them. I do think Tori.
I think she could be at the bottom of the tribe position-wise.
And we'll have to see. That's the thing. We don't know. We literally don't know. It could be anything.
See, this is why Survivor low-key fun, because we don't really know anything. We just talking out our ass, low-key.
Anything. But here's my thing. I think, that's the thing. I think what could potentially just straight out happen, the 3 older people stick together and they get out Tori. I don't think Swati goes home. But I do think if they make it into another round, I really honestly don't think Swati necessarily goes home. Because Drea clearly not afraid to get out Roxroy, you know what I mean? Or let's say Tori is able to get out Drea. That means the entire power structure is broken, which means I think that leaves Swati in the best position. So I do feel like she has so many outs, and I think she's just better positioned than them currently. So I give her a 5.
It could leave Swati in best position unless Tori's like Romeo Roxroy. Drea literally wanted Roxroy out. Let's avoid Drea. And then Swati's not even in that. But there's not much. We really don't know. So it doesn't really matter. It's funny because we clearly don't know what the fuck going on.
Next. That's the real gag.
Because the averages we literally have 3 people with the same average. Like, we don't know what the fuck's going on. I'll tell you in a minute. What are we giving Zach as a player overall after this literally hour we got of him? Barely. 10-minute worth of shit we got.
And I'm gonna mention the age thing again. These younger players who go on Survivor, y'all gotta stop going in there thinking I can just. I don't know. Like, this isn't a resort. This isn't a vacation. You really gotta go in there and play. Like, don't submit to these older contestants because I feel like every time they do, what ends up happening? They lose. Like, younger players do not win because they always just submit to them, and they should not do that. I do think. Zach, you are a super fan of the game. You wanted to be there. I do think he should have fought harder. The thing is, I don't know. The edit is the edit. He could have been around there making his rounds, talking to everybody, but we didn't see that on the episode. And I feel like if that is really what he did out there, then of course you were going to go home. I mean, even when they first got to Tribe, he's like, I just want to apologize for my performance. And you don't got to do all that.
You sure don't.
Let them say you were the weakest. Let them say it was you was the problem. Don't offer that you're the problem. I do think he just was feeling guilty, and that's how he reacted. Some people who are big fans of the game, the game itself just isn't as cut out for them. And I hate to see it, but I saw it for him. I am gonna give him a 3, only because honestly, I'm gonna give him a 4. I don't think he's necessarily a bad player. I think he's in a position to where he was in a tribe where he had nowhere to hide, he had nowhere to maneuver, he didn't get the given advantage, he didn't go to the island. So all he could play was a shot in the dark, and that was it. I mean, I'm giving him a 4 because yeah, he was eliminated, but he had better connection than Roxroy. It's
Mm-hmm.
just the chips fell where they may.
Mm-hmm.
Romeo had to flip. Tori had to do what she had to do. Swati felt like she had to do what she had to do. It happened. I mean, on an
Mm-hmm.
8-person tribe, a 10-person tribe, I don't see him going home first every time. He's not somewhere I think just goes first.
Mm-hmm.
But the situation he was in.
I agree. I think it was just a bad situation for him, and I think he didn't help his situation. So that's why I probably can't give him a vibe or nothing. Because I do think he didn't have to go out there and offer himself. Oh, I'm so sorry. Meanwhile, Drea think Roxford was the problem. You know what I'm saying? You out here offering yourself on the plate.
Like these people were not, I mean, these people were not necessarily worried about who was losing.
Not
Like you
necessarily
just
worried about.
told them.
And then him going back and forth with Tori and the tribe, that was kind of, they was finna get mad at him. They was like, who told Tori? Zach told Tori. Why did Zach have to tell Tori? He didn't have to tell her, which is why I feel like he was doing a little bit too much. He didn't do good at the challenge, so it is possible that if he is even on a different tribe, they're like, you flopped at the. He basically gave up at the puzzle. That's what Swati was saying. That's what people were saying. So I'm gonna give him a 3.5. I don't think he's horrible. I don't think he's the worst. I think he has like ABC ideas, but he also didn't do much to save himself. He didn't do much to improve his position, and he didn't do much at all. I feel so 3.5 period.
And I do want to speak on that. How you mentioned, I forgot that he went and told Tori what they were saying. I feel like that really, really does suck, and it does make you like. I mean, if you ever want to go on and play, you have to really recognize the type of player you're playing with. He went to go tell Tori that because he trusted her and he thought they could make something out of that and make up a different thing. Well, Tori, her plan was different from his. She went, told him someone told me so she can stay safe. You have to see what you're working with, and that's the scary thing about Survivor because when you're out there with in a day with someone, yeah, like that's the thing I have to realize. These alliances, these allegiances, these people that they want to work with and they saying they like, this is after a day or two of being around each other. Like these are not this like it's different than Big Brother. Like you can be working with someone for a whole 2 weeks before feeds even come on. Like no, in Survivor, these are literally 1 or 2 days. So I don't fault him too much for that because he just didn't know the type of player that Tori was. And how would you after day 1? He thought he was helping the bitch out, and she played him.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
I'm not mad. Tori had to do what she had to do. I don't think I would necessarily play like that, but not everyone thinks like that.
We got Romeo with a 7. He's at the top of the tribe. We have Tori, average at a 5.5. She's next to Romeo. Then everybody else is tied. Drea, Roxroy, and Swati all got a 4.75. They're all tied.
That's funny.
That's what we have. That's how it ended up. That's why I'm like, we don't know what the fuck going on. We struggling.
But I do feel like that works a little bit because it's like, well, it depends because Tori. That's the thing. Tori can go 1 of 2 ways. If Tori is able to make it through, I do think Tori stays in her position. She goes home. She goes home. So.
All right. Well, shit. That's what we got today. This is our ratings.
Oh shoot!
What's up?
I just realized they can't see our draft picks.
I know.
That.
It's okay.
We can do it next time.
Next time you'll see our draft pick. I had Zach, so that sucks.
I had Jackson, so we both lost a person.
We did lose a person. So we even will have the draft pick on next time. So remember everybody to follow us on our social media. Remember to check us out at T Reality Kingdom on Instagram and on Twitter. And every Wednesday, every Thursday, we will be dropping a podcast for Survivor. It's going to be every Thursday. If you're into Big Brother Canada, that's what we're also covering. That's going to be every Wednesday. So we will be dropping those on those days. Thank you so much for having us. Bye-bye.